Looking for some awesome Valentine's Day dessert ideas? Well, stay tuned because in this video, I'm going to share 3 delicious cookie treats that are perfect for Valentine's Day. Welcome back, adventurers. Thank you so much for joining me for another fun food adventure. If this is the first time you're seeing me, my name is Carly and welcome to my channel, Adventures in Yum. Here I share delightfully delicious food videos that I hope will inspire you to go on your own food adventures. I share recipes for mostly sweet treats, some savory eats, food reviews, and yes, cocktails too. If that sounds awesome to you, please consider subscribing. With Valentine's Day just a couple of weeks away, I figured that now would be a great time to share some tasty cookie desserts that are particularly perfect for DIY gifts. If you haven't already, make sure to check out my Red Velvet Hot Chocolate Bombs video for another great Valentine treat and DIY gift idea. The link is in the description below. Do you make homemade treats for Valentine's Day? Let me know what kinds in the comments below. First, we're making Valentine's Day Oreo cookie pops.
To a large microwave-safe mixing bowl, add about 3 to 4 cups of chocolate. Here I'm using a combination of a 12-ounce bag of Wilton light chocolate candy melts and a 12-ounce bag of Wilton dark chocolate candy melts. Melt the chocolate in the microwave in short increments of 15 to 30 seconds at a time until completely melted. Make sure to stir in between each heating. If you also choose to use Wilton candy melts, once the chocolate is completely melted, thin the chocolate with vegetable oil. For the 24 ounces of Wilton candy melts I use here, I added 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Once the chocolate is ready, dip one end of the lollipop stick in the chocolate. Shove the lollipop stick into the center of an Oreo, and then place this on a piece of parchment paper. Repeat with the rest of the Oreo cookies. Let the chocolate completely harden before proceeding to the next step. Next, dip each Oreo in the chocolate and make sure that it gets completely covered. Shake off the excess chocolate and place the cookie pop back on the parchment paper. Repeat until all of the cookie pops are coated in a nice layer of chocolate. Let the chocolate completely harden before proceeding to the final step. Now it's time to decorate. Using some melted Wilton red candy melts that have been thinned with a little bit of vegetable oil and added to a piping bag, drizzle the candy melts over the cookie pops. Before the candy melts set, add some adorable Valentine's Day sprinkles. The best things about these Valentine treats are that they taste great, look terrific, and are ridiculously easy to make.
Second, we're making chocolate-covered shortbread cookie hearts.
As I mentioned in my homemade Girl Scout Samoa's cookie video, I currently use Martha Stewart's shortbread recipe because it always turns out well. I love the flavor, and it's been fantastic for so many yummy food projects. To start, we're going to sift 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 1 1/4 teaspoon of salt into a large mixing bowl. Give it a quick whisk and then set it aside. Now we're going to add 2 sticks or 1 cup of room temperature unsalted butter to either the bowl of a stand mixer or a large mixing bowl. Then add 3/4 cup powdered sugar. Cream the butter and sugar for about 3 to 5 minutes using either a stand mixer or a hand mixer. Now add the flour and salt mixture to the mixing bowl. Mix until everything is just combined. Overmixing will result in a tough shortbread. Now we're going to pour the dough onto a piece of parchment paper, combine it into 1 ball of dough in the center, place another piece of parchment paper on top, and roll the dough so that it's between 1/8 and 1/4 inch thick. Place this on a baking sheet and into the refrigerator for about 20 to 30 minutes to harden. You want the dough to be nice and cold because cutting the cookies is not only easier, but it also results in cleaner cut edges. Once chilled, use a heart cookie cutter to cut the cookies. The one I used here is about 2 1/4 inches in size. Combine the extra dough scraps into 1 ball of dough, re-roll it, chill it, and cut more cookies. Place the cookies on a parchment paper lined baking sheet. Poke some small holes in the dough with a fork to ensure that they do not puff up, and bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 40 to 45 minutes. I actually like to get a light toast on my shortbread for added flavor, so I bake mine for closer to 50 to 60 minutes. Once they're done, let them cool completely. To a large microwave-safe mixing bowl, add about 3 cups of chocolate. For these cookies, I decided to use Ghirardelli dark chocolate melting wafers. Melt the chocolate in the microwave in short increments of 15 to 30 seconds at a time until completely melted. Once the chocolate's ready, place a cookie in the chocolate and make sure that it gets completely covered. Use a combination of either 2 forks or 1 fork and 1 spoon to pick up the cookie and shake off the excess chocolate, and then place it back on the parchment paper. The first decoration style is done before the chocolate sets on the outside of the shortbread. Right after placing the cookie back on the parchment paper, have 2 piping bags ready with 2 different Valentine colors of melting candy that are already melted and thin with vegetable oil. Pipe a few straight lines using one of the candy melt colors over the chocolate-covered cookie. Then, using the other color, pipe a line in between each of the lines that you just piped. Drag a thin kitchen tool, like a cake tester, along the top of the chocolate layer and perpendicular to the colorful lines you just piped. Clean the kitchen tool between each time it's dragged along the top of the chocolate. Then, drag the cake tester between the lines you just created with this dragging technique in the opposite direction. Once you're done, let it set completely before moving it. Here are a few things to keep in mind when doing this kind of decoration. 1. Do not drag the tool along the cookie. You want to go along the top of the chocolate layer because if you go too low, it will create crevices in the chocolate rather than a nice smooth surface. 2. Make sure the chocolate and candy melts are nice and hot. If they've already begun to cool, it will result in a clumpy look on the top of the cookie. To do these cookies, I actually had to reheat the chocolate and candy melts in between every cookie to ensure a nice pretty top. And 3, an easy way to do the decoration would be to make it out of royal icing, but because royal icing can be really sweet, I decided to try the combination of chocolate and candy melts for this one. While this decoration style can be a complete pain in the butt, it is so pretty and it does get easier once you get the hang of it. And the second decoration style is a simple drizzle and sprinkle combo. Once the chocolate has completely hardened on the cookies, we're going to add some of the melted candy melts to a piping bag and drizzle it over the top of the cookies. Drizzle the candy melts over part of the hearts and immediately add some Valentine's Day sprinkles before the candy melts set. A variation of this is to drizzle the candy melts over the entire cookie and then add sprinkles. The flavor of the chocolate with a light pop of salt from the crunchy shortbread and topped off with super cute Valentine decorations make these a perfect gift for Valentine's Day.
Before I share that third and final cookie, which is one of my personal favorites, make sure to hit that like button and click subscribe. And third, we're making Valentine Galaxy Cake Cookies.
Okay, so one thing you should know about me is that I love galaxy themed things. I have a galaxy themed notebook, dress, workout pants, swim top, poster in my office, and probably more. Anywho, I first made some galaxy cake cookies last year when I was first testing my adapted version of Preppy Kitchen's cake cookie recipe. When I was thinking about what kind of yummy and fun things to make for Valentine's Day this year, I decided to make a galaxy cake cookie with a Valentine twist. So let's get started. To a large mixing bowl fitted with a sifter, add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 cup of granulated sugar, 1 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and ½ teaspoon of salt. Once these ingredients are completely sifted, give it a quick whisk and then add 1 stick or ½ cup of unsalted butter. Mix this on low until it's thoroughly mixed and resembles the crumbly mixture seen here. Add 2 large eggs and 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. Mix just until it becomes a cohesive cookie dough. Next, add about 1 to 2 tablespoons of cookie dough into a small bowl. Repeat with 2 more small bowls and then set them aside. To the remaining batter, add about a ½ teaspoon of black food gel color and thoroughly mix it into the dough. Then, dye the cookie dough in the first small bowl with 1/4 teaspoon or less of red food gel color. The second with 1/8 teaspoon or less of pink food gel color. And the third with 1/8 teaspoon or less of purple food gel color. Using a medium-sized cookie scoop, scoop the black cookie dough onto a parchment paper-lined baking sheet. Now, using a butter knife, we're going to swirl the Valentine-colored cookie doughs on the tops of the black cookie dough balls. Just have fun with this part. Make sure to add at least a little bit of each colored cookie dough on the tops of the cookies. But don't add too much because we still want to see some of the black cookie dough to really have that gorgeous galaxy look. Once we're done swirling the cookie dough, we're using some edible white paint to splatter the cookies in order to make them look like they have a bunch of stars. To do this, we simply take a food paintbrush, dip it in a little bit of edible white paint, hold it about 4 to 6 inches above the cookies, and hit the back of the brush with our fingers. Fair warning, this part gets a little bit messy. Once that's complete, instead of adding edible gold stars, we're adding a sprinkle of edible pink hearts to the tops of the cookies. Finally, for an extra pretty touch, we're spraying edible glitter onto the cookies. I decided to add both silver and gold edible glitter. Bake the cookies at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 14 to 16 minutes. Once they're done, remove them from the oven, let them cool completely, and they're ready to enjoy. These cake cookies have a lovely vanilla flavor and wonderful soft texture. They are also just so pretty to look at because of the multiple colors, edible glitter, and those cute pink hearts.
You can find all of these recipes on my website, adventuresandyum.net. The links are in the description below. If you're curious about some of the products I used in this video, make sure to check out the video description below for their Amazon links. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll see you next time for another lovely fun food adventure.